I think I killed it.
In 1986, a gruesome murder shook New York City, a city already struggling with rising crime and economic disparity. The victim, 18-year-old Jennifer Levin. The accused, Robert Emmett Chambers Jr., an attractive young man from an elite social circle. This is the story of the Preppie murder case. As a young adult, Robert Chambers was not exactly what you'd consider a good egg. Although he lived in a wealthy neighborhood in New York's Upper East Side, growing up he was anything but affluent. His parents worked hard to put him through prep school, where he earned a scholarship to Choate in 1980, but was kicked out soon afterward. He was ultimately accepted to and attended Boston University on partial scholarships, but was asked to leave after just a single semester, for reasons which included the use of a stolen credit card. Apparently unable or unwilling to get his act together, he later committed other petty thefts and burglaries, supposedly in connection with ongoing drug and alcohol abuse. Police estimated that he and a partner stole upwards of $70,000 in jewelry and valuables. At the time of Jennifer's death, Robert was dating actress Alex Kapp, who was none too pleased with him for stealing her $50 allowance, and broke up with him shortly before he started seeing Jennifer. Jennifer Levin was a vibrant and outgoing 18-year-old and was just beginning her adult life when she started seeing Robert. They both moved in the elite social circles of Manhattan's Upper East Side and had been friends before their relationship turned intimate. Jennifer's friend Peter Davis described Jennifer as funny, loyal, and down-to-earth, the type of friend who was always there for her friends. She had a lot of friends, he recalls, but she always found a way to make you feel special. According to Robert, on the evening of August 25th, he had met Jennifer at Dorian's Red Hand, a popular bar located on the Upper East Side in New York City. According to him, Alex Kapp was there and had seen him interact with Jennifer. An argument between the two ensued, apparently about the stolen money, and Alex stormed out, but not before throwing a handful of condoms in his face. The DA believes this act would be the catalyst for what would happen to Jennifer later on. Jennifer and Robert were last seen leaving the bar together around 4 a.m. I remember she looked sort of mellow, putting her jacket over her left shoulder, pulling her hair, crossing the street like there was no problem, her friend Betsy recalled. Later that morning at about 6:15 a.m., Jennifer's body was discovered in Central Park across the East Drive from the Metropolitan Museum of Art by an early morning bicyclist. It was evident that her death was violent and chilling and sent shockwaves through the city, which was in the midst of the crack epidemic and was facing high unemployment and fiscal instability. The city had already experienced high-profile criminal cases like the murder of John Lennon and the 1984 subway shooting, and unfortunately, its reputation for crime and disorder was becoming a part of daily life. Jennifer's body was found partially clothed, her bra and shirt pulled up to her neck, her skirt around her ankles. She showed signs of strangulation, but also had visible bite marks and scratches all over her body. Her fingernails were bruised and she had cuts around her throat, leading authorities to speculate that she must have been clawing at whatever was wrapped around her neck. Lead Detective Mike Sheehan noted, "This kid put up the fight of her life. I mean, who does that? That person has to pay." While police investigated the scene, Chambers hid nearby and watched them. In fact, he had watched the early morning bicyclist find Jennifer's body too, chilling on a nearby stone wall, taking it all in. After police canvassed local businesses and speaking with Jennifer's friends as well as other patrons of the bar that night, Chambers was identified as the man Jennifer was seen leaving with. Detectives spoke with Chambers at his home, who gave conflicting answers to questions over and over again. For example, when asked if he left the bar with Jennifer, he said no. When he was told other patrons saw them leave together, he admitted that yes, he had left with her. He, too, was covered in scratch marks similar to the ones found on Jennifer's throat, which he blamed on his cat. However, once at police headquarters, he admitted the cat was declawed. When he realized his back was up against a wall, he confessed to killing Jennifer. In a rough game of intimacy gone wrong.
Raping you in the park? She's having her way with me, without my consent, with my hands behind my back, hurting me.
Chambers was arrested and indicted on 2 counts of second-degree murder, intentional murder and depraved indifference to human life, for which he would face a minimum of 15 years in jail and a maximum of 25 years to life if convicted. Chambers posted the $157,000 bail, the equivalent of about $500,000 today. Some of that was put up by Jack Dorian himself, the owner of Dorian's Red Hand, while his attorney Jack Littman got to work building a defense. It had been an accident, he said, a rough encounter that had gone wrong, and apparently it was all Jennifer's fault. She had been trying to force him into something he didn't want, and she hurt him by grabbing his family jewels too hard. According to his confession, Chambers said, "I couldn't take it anymore and I managed to get my left hand free, so I kind of sat up a little and just grabbed at her. I just grabbed her neck as hard as I could and she just flipped over me and landed right next to the tree. And then she didn't move." One of the last things he had said to his dad before being processed was, why couldn't she just leave me alone? Needless to say, her injuries were inconsistent with his version of events. His legal team got busy doing everything they could to slander Jennifer, calling her promiscuous, loose, and easy, a girl into the rough stuff who kept a diary of everyone she bedded, which, by the way, was not true. There was no real mention of Chambers' drug use, theft, or flopping out of college. Instead, the media focused on Chambers' good looks and polished demeanor. Portraying him as a nice Irish Catholic preppy from the Upper East Side, they also reported on a letter of support Chambers received from Archbishop Theodore Edgar McCarrick of Newark, New Jersey, the same archbishop that would be defrocked in 2019 for essaying minors. The case was ultimately dubbed the Preppie murder. Television outlets, local newspapers, and news radio couldn't get enough of the story, with so many, if not all, buying into Chambers' version of events. This case had it all, highlighting issues of class, privilege, and gender, while raising questions about how society perceives victims and perpetrators. What it didn't have, however, was a voice for the victim. No special interest groups, no Me Too movement marchers, not even a simple conversation about DV against women. The only voice for Jennifer were just a handful of guardian angels who stood outside the courthouse and criticized the defense for the piss-poor excuse of a defense. Chambers' trial began on January 4, 1988 and lasted 13 weeks. After 9 days of deliberation, prosecutors apparently had a hard time proving premeditation, and the jury deadlocked. Prosecutor Linda Fairstein offered Chambers a plea deal. Chambers admitted guilt to first-degree manslaughter, a charge that carried a sentence ranging from 5 to 15 years. As part of the deal, he acknowledged that he had intended to harm Levin severely enough to cause her death. During his sentencing in April, he expressed remorse, stating in court, "It breaks my heart to have to say that. The Levin family has gone through hell because of my actions, and I am sorry."
I'm sorry for all the pain that everybody's gone through, and I would like to thank the 150 plus people that have written to me so far while in Rikers Island for all their comfort, for all their letters.
For Jennifer's family, the plea deal felt like a miscarriage of justice. For many, it underscored the systematic advantages of wealth and privilege in the legal system. Chambers was ultimately sentenced to 15 years in prison, served the full 15 years, and was released from Auburn Correctional Facility in 2003. During his time in prison, he managed to rack up 27 disciplinary violations, everything from weapons possession, assault, disobeying orders, and his favorite, drug possession. And he spent nearly 4 years in solitary confinement. According to an inmate misbehavior report from Greenhaven Prison, it shows that on June 19, 1997, a corrections officer found heroin hidden in Chambers' cell. His time away from the Gray Bar Motel would be brief. Just 2 years later, in July 2005, he was arrested for heroin and cocaine possession following a traffic stop and received a 100-day sentence. In 2008, he was sentenced to 19 years for assault and dealing more of the bad stuff out of his then-girlfriend's apartment. According to a local news report, he was allegedly selling enough of the white stuff out of his 17th floor apartment on East 57th Street to put him away for life. He was released from New York's Shawangunk Correctional Facility on July 25, 2023, after serving 15 years of his 19-year sentence. Ellen Levin, Jennifer's mom, noted, "He got more time in prison for selling drugs than for ending my daughter's life," which is pretty amazing. The death of Jennifer Levin sparked public debate about the treatment of crime victims in the media and exposed the disparities in how justice is served. Jennifer's tragic death left a lasting impact, inspiring reforms and movements to better protect victims' rights and combat media bias. In fact, Jennifer's mom has gone on to become a lobbyist, passing 13 laws in 10 years to help protect victims of crime. Jennifer's family also went on to sue Dorrian's Red Hand in a civil suit, alleging that they had served Chambers way past the point of inebriation. The case was settled for an undisclosed amount in 2009. The Levin family also filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Chambers, to which he did not contest. The court awarded the Levins $25 million in damages and ruled that any money Chambers earned, including income from book or movie deals, must be paid to Levin's parents. The Preppie murder case remains a cautionary tale of privilege, media influence, and the fight for justice. Jennifer Levin's life was cut short, but her legacy endures as a symbol of resilience and change. Thanks for joining Stud and I on this exploration of a case that captivated a nation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more deep dives into 80s pop culture and true crime. See you next time. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.